The movie takes place in the early decades of the 21st century, in a future where information has become the most valuable commodity in the world. Corporations compete constantly to control sensitive data, and because digital networks are no longer considered safe for transporting the most important files, a new type of smuggling has emerged. Certain people work as professional couriers who carry encrypted information directly inside cybernetic implants in their brains. These couriers are called mnemonics, and they are paid large amounts of money to transport data securely from one place to another. Johnny, played by Keanu Reeves, is one of these couriers. In order to do this job, he had to erase large portions of his own childhood memories so that his brain would have enough storage space to hold encrypted data for clients. Because of that sacrifice, he no longer remembers important parts of his own past, including many personal memories that most people take for granted. Johnny is tired of living this way and wants to remove the implant so he can recover the memories he gave up. But the procedure required to restore them costs $1.5 million. Since he doesn't have that kind of money, he agrees to complete one final courier job so he can earn enough to finally leave the business. The story begins with Johnny waking up in a hotel room in January of 2021. After speaking with a broker named Ralphie through a video call, Johnny explains that he needs the money from this final delivery in order to remove the implant in his head and return to a normal life. Soon afterward, he travels to Beijing, where he meets a group of clients who want him to transport a very large amount of encrypted data. When Johnny prepares his implant for the upload, the system warns him that the maximum safe storage capacity for his brain is 160 gigabytes. However, the clients revealed that the data they need transported is actually double that amount, around 320 gigabytes. Johnny realizes this is far more than his brain can safely handle, but because he desperately needs the money, he reluctantly agrees to take the risk. The upload process is extremely painful. Johnny connects a cable directly into the port in his head and puts on specialized equipment that helps stabilize the transfer. As the data streams into his brain, the clients take photographs that serve as the encryption key required to unlock the files later. These photos are essential because without them, the data stored in Johnny's head cannot be accessed. Unfortunately, before the transaction can be completed, a group of Yakuza assassins suddenly attacks the room. Their leader, Shinji, carries a dangerous monofilament weapon capable of slicing through almost anything. During the chaos that follows, several of the clients are killed, and the photo strip containing the encryption key is damaged, leaving only part of it intact. Johnny manages to escape the building, but the deal has completely fallen apart, and he is now the only person alive who still carries the massive data upload in his brain. As Johnny attempts to leave the country, a security scanner at the airport detects his implant and warns him that the overload of data is causing dangerous synaptic leakage. This means the information stored inside his brain is already putting serious strain on his nervous system, and if he cannot safely download the data soon, it could eventually kill him. Meanwhile, the Yakuza report back to their employer, a powerful corporate figure named Takahashi. Takahashi learns that the courier escaped with the data and that only part of the encryption key was recovered during the attack. Because the files are extremely valuable, he orders his men to track Johnny down and retrieve the information before anyone else can get to it. Back in Newark, Johnny tries to track down Ralphie, the broker who arranged the job, because he believes he was set up. While searching for him, Johnny becomes entangled in a violent confrontation involving a woman named Jane. Jane works as a bodyguard and is suffering from a widespread disease known as nerve attenuation syndrome, commonly called the black shakes. This illness causes uncontrollable tremors and eventually becomes fatal. And at this point in the story, there is no known cure.
Despite her condition, Jane proves to be highly skilled in combat and ends up helping Johnny escape when Ralphie betrays him and tries to have him killed. Realizing they are both in danger, Johnny and Jane decide to work together while trying to figure out what exactly is stored inside Johnny's brain. During this time, Johnny begins experiencing severe headaches and neurological symptoms because the massive data upload is exceeding his brain's capacity. The situation becomes even more dangerous when Takahashi hires a ruthless assassin known as the Street Preacher to hunt Johnny down. The preacher is a violent religious fanatic who believes modern technology is corrupting humanity, and he takes the contract with the intention of killing Johnny and destroying the information he carries. Johnny and Jane eventually seek help from an underground hacker and medical technician named Spider. Spider examines both of them and confirms that Jane's condition is related to the same global disease spreading throughout the population. When Spider analyzes Johnny's implant, he discovers something shocking about the encrypted files stored in Johnny's brain. The data Johnny is carrying is not corporate secrets or financial records, as he originally believed. Instead, it contains the complete cure for the very disease that is killing millions of people around the world. The reason the corporations want the data back suddenly becomes clear. If the cure becomes public, it would undermine the massive profits being made by pharmaceutical companies that currently control treatments related to the illness. Because of this, powerful organizations have been trying to suppress the cure and prevent it from ever reaching the public. The scientists who discovered it attempted to leak the information, and during their effort to expose the truth, the files were uploaded into Johnny's brain for safe transport. Now Johnny is carrying the only known cure for NAS, which means both criminal organizations and corporate forces are determined to stop him before the information can be released. Spider explains that in order to decrypt the massive data load inside Johnny's brain, they will need help from a very unusual source. Hidden within an underground hacker community known as the Low-Techs is a highly intelligent dolphin named Jones that was once trained by the military to break complex encryption systems. If Johnny connects his implant to the dolphin system, Jones might be able to decode the files and extract the cure. Johnny reluctantly agrees to connect his implant to the machine so the dolphin can begin decoding the files. However, before the process can be completed, Takahashi's forces arrive at the bridge, along with the Yakuza and the Street Preacher. A large battle breaks out between the attackers and the Low-Techs as gunfire and explosions erupt throughout the structure. During the chaos, Takahashi personally confronts Johnny while attempting to seize control of the data. The situation becomes even more complicated when Shinji betrays Takahashi and shoots him in order to claim the information for himself. Shinji then attempts to kill Johnny using his deadly wire weapon, and the two end up fighting while hanging dangerously above the river below. In the struggle, Johnny manages to turn the weapon against Shinji and finally defeats him. With the final piece of the encryption key recovered, Johnny reconnects his implant to the dolphin system so the data can be fully decrypted. Despite the extreme pain caused by the overloaded implant, the process succeeds and the cure for NAS is finally extracted. The Low-Techs immediately broadcast the information across the world's communication networks so that the cure cannot be suppressed again. As the city skyline glows in the distance and the corrupt corporate forces lose control of the information they tried to hide, Johnny finally comes closer to the normal life he has been trying to reclaim.